let's go ahead and talk about Zach Wilson, formerly just talked about just a few minutes ago, the quarterback from BYU. I don't know why I said it like that. I have no affection for BYU. You got a good football team, I guess. That's cool for you guys. So both mock drafts that I looked at, they have him going at number 2 for the Jets. We talked about this right before we came on. You had said you don't know if it's that simple. What are your thoughts on the man, Zach Wilson?
Look, if I had to bet $20 on it right now, I would bet that Zach Wilson's going to the Jets. And that's what I have written down on my list, to be honest. Like I just can't, I've done enough research to be like, okay, it's likely going to be Zach Wilson. But before I settled on that and I was getting crazy, I was like, okay, this is what's going to happen. And this is not what I really think is going to happen, but I think it's still a possibility that it's possible that maybe the Jets are like, no, we want Justin Fields because, like I said, prior to last year, it was always looked at as Trevor Lawrence 1, Justin Fields 2, and a lot of things changed. So what if the Robert Saleh, the 49ers defensive coordinator who went on to become the head coach of the New York Jets, told Shanahan that, hey, we're actually going to draft Justin Fields. Like, that's our guy. And Shanahan's like, okay, you're going to draft Justin Fields, and we're trading up to number 3 so we can draft Zach Wilson. I don't think that's going to happen because at first I was like thinking that Justin Fields was like more athletic than Zach Wilson. But Zach, apparently, after doing some research, Zach Wilson is very athletic.
Yes.
Like very, very athletic, and he could do a bunch of stuff. So my point is the Jets need a playmaker. They don't. If the Jets drafted Mac Jones, it would be a disaster. But if they can get somebody in there, they need a Mahomes guy. A Watson guy on the field, and a guy who, okay, if his first read isn't good, that he can move around, figure something out, make a play happen. And I think he's going to go to the Jets, and I think he's going to be similar to, you know how Russell Wilson, and not because they have the same last name, but because Russell Wilson has so much volume because he's like their whole offense, right? Like almost everything involves Russell Wilson in their offense. I think it's going to be similar with Zach Wilson with the Jets. Everything they do, every play is going to involve him, and he's going to be the one getting involved. Hopefully they can get a decent run game going there. So I think because they're going to rest so much on his shoulders.
Dude, they're both twisting.
Yeah.
It happens.
The whole offense is going to rest on his shoulders. So he's going to have a ton of, I think he's going to have rushing yards. He's going to have a ton of yards passing. So I think it actually really could be good for fantasy because, even though they have a defensive coach, their defense is player wise isn't up to snub yet. So I think it's going to be Zach Wilson to the Jets, and it could be good for fantasy.
It could be good for fantasy. And Jacob, I have to partially agree with you. I did not like your comps because I have a better one. And before I say that, I will say this, and I'll stake my claim on it now. I believe that Zach Wilson is the best quarterback. When you look at this draft class 5 years from now, Zach Wilson will be one of the standout quarterbacks from this draft, okay? And I say that for a number of reasons, which I will list now. I like him a lot. First and foremost, crazy athletic, strong arm, okay? He's going to be one of those rookies. Is New York the best landing spot? No, but they're in a rebuild. I love Robert Saleh. I love what he was able to do with the 49ers defense. I believe that there's a culture in that. He's bringing his culture to New York. They're starting something new. It's brewing. I love it. You mentioned Patrick Mahomes. You mentioned Deshaun Watson. I don't think he's like those guys. I think he's like my other guy who I have staked a claim in many times before.
I knew this was coming.
And that is Josh Allen. That is my guy, Josh Allen. He's got all the traits. He's got the arm. He's got the athletic ability. What I did first is I just wanted to see what he was like. I did what anybody else would do. I watched some highlight videos on him. Before I read anything else, and I saw that other people were comparing him to Josh Allen, within 35 seconds of watching that my first highlight video on him before I watched many others, I said, Josh Allen. Josh Allen all the way. This guy has it. He could be fantasy ready right away. Of course, he's going to start. Who are they going to put in front of him? They don't have anyone there. Zach Wilson is going to start day one. I'm not saying I'm starting him day one, but I am making sure that I get a hold of this guy in all of my fantasy drafts. Whether it's redraft, I'm picking him up as my second quarterback, like my last pick as a flyer, or I mean, he'll probably go earlier than that. And in dynasty drafts, I'm taking him over people like probably not Trevor Lawrence if he's there, but I'm taking him over every other quarterback that we're going to talk about today. That's how much I like this guy.
Wow.
That's how much I like him. You also got a young receiver there, Denzel Mims, who showed promise last year with Sam Darnold. I know, dude. It's a Thursday. Who showed promise last year. I love that combination already. You also got Crowder underneath. And we'll see what they do with that running back situation. It'll be a tough first year, just like it was for Josh Allen. But even Josh Allen proved to be fantasy relevant and proved to be that price player that they paid up for. So I'm all in on Zach Wilson. I can't wait to have him on my fantasy team this year and for years to come.
Yeah, he's exciting. I get what you mean. Like, look, you probably would have to take Trevor Lawrence over him in a super flex league dynasty, but you're kind of more excited about Zach Wilson because you want to be like, see, I called it. He's great at fantasy instead of like everybody knows Trevor Lawrence is going to be great. So it's kind of like it's just a little bit more exciting, I think.
100%. I couldn't agree with you there. Or I couldn't agree more with you there. We are ready to move on?
Well, don't forget he can windmill dunk too. So
yeah, he's gonna be Space Jam 3. No more basketball players.
Yeah, it's gonna be a football
movie.
Go to
Zach Wilson. It's gonna be awesome.